All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining today. This is the penultimate Teams 101 training for your organization. So I'm grateful that you took your time to be here today. My name is Heather Wensler, and I work in Northern California. And basically, my job is to assist organizations, including educators and staff, in all of the Microsoft products. And today we're going to be really focusing on Teams. We're going to take a walk through, and I'm going to show you the basics of how to use it. Unfortunately, I don't have anybody able to run the Q&A while we're live, so I will do my best to look over periodically and answer questions, but never fear, I will pull the Q&A at the end. I will provide all of the answers and resources in an Excel spreadsheet, and I will get that out to your administration so that you can benefit from everybody else's questions. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And the first thing that we really need to talk about is, what is Teams? Teams is your one-stop creation. It is everything all wrapped in one. It is your communication, it's your file sharing and storage and collaboration. So our goal today is to learn just basically how to access, how to integrate. And then if you have further needs, I will be providing my information at the end, and you're more than welcome to reach out. So let's get started. So as you can see, I've logged in. This is my Teams dashboard. You can see I have quite a few different teams. And up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see that there's a box that says join or create a team. And we're going to be creating a team today. Don't worry, you can go out, you can delete it when you're done. So click the button, and then you are sorry, my tongue is tied. You are provided many options. Up in the upper left corner is the Create Team button. You'll notice it's purple, and everything surrounding our screen is purple. Microsoft has colors for each of its products, so when you see purple, it's Teams. So we're going to create a team today. I'm going to come back a little later and talk about why you might want to join a team with a code. So that'll be a little bit later. We'll come back here. So we click the purple button, and then we have a choice. There's 4 different types of teams. For teachers, there's a class team, and that includes a class digital notebook. It includes assignments and grading. There's a PLC, which includes a staff notebook. There's a staff class or staff team, which is what we're going to do. And then you can create teams for other groups that don't really fit into any of the other three. And one of the great things I like about this is if you're not happy with it, you can delete it and start over. So you're not stuck with something that isn't working for you. So I'm going to be creating a staff team today. So I simply click on staff. And then I need to give it a name. And I'm just going to be very simple here, business. I can describe what it's for. I can do that. I don't have to, and I'm not going to right now. Then you have to decide on your team's privacy. This can be changed later if you decide to change your mind. But what is it? If it's a private team, that means that owners, and you are the owner because you are the creator of the team, only owners can add new members in. So that's a private team. A public team means that anyone in your organization that has the same @ and email address as you, they can join automatically. They can request to join, they can find you, they can join. So you can decide how you want your team, how you want members to join your team. And this is changeable later should you need to. So when you've made those decisions, you're going to click next. And then we're going to be adding some people. So I'm just going to add some accounts that we have here that are easy for me to get to. So I'm going to add 3. Now you'll notice I've added 2 here, and then I have one that says guest after it. This is my personal email, and it's not in the same organization. It's not the same email address that I'm using for my work. So you can invite people who are not in your organization to join your team. They are given limited access as a security measure to keep your things secure. So you can invite others. So I'm just going to leave it at 3. You don't have to do this right now at all. You can skip this and come back at a later time. But I'm going to click add. So you'll notice that my guest is going to be a guest forever. I cannot change that at all. But for my 2 members, there's a drop-down menu. I could change one or both of these to owners. And owners, again, are the people who have the most rights within the team, the most rights to change things. Members have less in there. I'm going to leave them as members and click close, and it's going to drop us right into our team. So let's just take a walk around the screen. So on the left, you'll notice in the purple ribbon, this is the universal ribbon. You'll notice I have some activity, some things going on. So when I click activity, it's going to show activity across every one of those teams that you saw in those squares. It's going to be a listing of all activity that has been going on. There's 2 new things in there right now. The chat will show me all chat conversations that I'm a part of in all of those teams, across all of them. We started here in the Teams button. I do have some classroom teams, so I have assignments. You probably won't, but you might. If you create a class team, you would see assignments here. Then I have my calendar, and that is my Outlook calendar. So I don't have to leave Teams to get to Outlook and see what my schedule is. Makes it really convenient. If your organization is using telephony services, you can make phone calls directly from within Teams. You don't have to pick up your mobile phone or your desk phone. And then there's files. And again, these are all files that I have access to across all of those teams. This is the universal ribbon. And you'll notice also there's a little ellipses at the bottom, and Microsoft is really good about this. Whenever you see 3 dots, it means there's more there. Click it and see what it does. So when I click it, I have a number of additional things that I could add, icons that I can add to my universal ribbon. So you can do that. And again, this just depends on what your administration is allowing, what they have chosen to give to you as additional apps. But you can add apps that you use often and place them here in your universal ribbon. All right, so I'm going to go back to our team. There we go. Okay, so now we have the white column. This is going to be our channel lineup. So a team is consistent of channels. So our team name is business, and it's automatically giving us a general channel. Now, the general channel you can't change, you can't delete, it is given to us. So we can't do much with it in terms of changing it and what it's for. But we can add additional channels, and we're going to go through that a little bit later. And channels can be anything. There's no right or wrong way here to set up a team and to use a team. Our goal is to free up your email and free up your time so that you are working more efficiently. So we can do most of your office tasks can be done directly from within Teams. So here's our general channel. You probably noticed that there are some ellipses here, and we will be looking at those. But before we do, I want to walk around the big gray middle part. So this is where all of the work takes place. And across the top, we have tabs. So we are given a posts tab, a files tab, a staff notebook, which is just a OneNote digital notebook. I'm not going to go through that today. And in this case, it also gave me a couple of wiki tabs. And then there's a plus sign where I can add more of these types of tabs, and we will be doing that later as well. But we're going to start kind of on the fun part, and that's the posts. This is your communications piece. We're in an age right now where we want almost instant communication. I get frustrated when I have to send emails to people now because I have to wait for them to open their email client and look at the email and then do whatever it is and then attach whatever it was and then send it back. And to me, I'm just sitting there waiting. This way we can collaborate in real time, and it just makes it a lot less stressful, especially when it comes to having things like deadlines. You're able to work much more quickly and efficiently. So how do I use posts? So it says start a new conversation. Okay, so I type my message and hit enter. And now I have a message. And the person on the other side, one of my teammates, all of the teammates, everyone in the team can see this. It's available to everybody. Everyone sees it completely. Another person could reply right back. And we have a conversation going. So pretty simple. Also notice when I hover my cursor over the right side of the message box, we can do some interactions. So this just kind of a little bit of whimsy in our day, of course, but it also allows us to acknowledge a message if we may not have the time to sit down and post a response right away. So if someone had said, you know, hello to me and I just saw it in passing, I might offer it a heart. And I can hover over the heart and see who sent that to me. So you can show that you are receiving the message if you don't have time to sit and do a full reply, or if it doesn't warrant a full reply. But then also in post down at the bottom, it says type @ to mention someone. Now an @ mention is a way for you to send a notification to either individuals in your team or to the whole team, to the team as a whole. And all we have to do is type the @ symbol, and Microsoft comes up with some suggestions for who I might want to send this message to. So I could send by clicking, and notice when I did that it turned blue. That means that it was successful. There's no space between the @ symbol and the person's name. And then I can type the message to the person, and that person will get a little purple banner in the bottom right corner of their screen that there's a message for them in their team. They'll also receive an email. So if they're on their email client, they will notice that there is a message waiting for them. I can do even more though. What if it's an important message that I need to message the entire team all at once? Now, 3 isn't too bad, but if I've got 100 people on a team, I really don't want to have to type all of their names on an @ mention. That doesn't seem like a good use of my time. So I can mention the entire team. So I'm going to type the @ symbol and start typing the name of the team. And then Microsoft figures out that I'm trying to do the whole team here. And it gives me the suggestion, and I click on it. And now everybody in the team will get a notification. They'll get a purple banner in the bottom right corner, and they'll get an email that there's a message. And also, this little icon, the little red people icon, is a reminder that the entire team got the message. but I can do even more. Maybe you noticed underneath, there are some icons down here. Let's start on the left with the format, the A with the paintbrush. When I click on it, now it's a lot bigger. There's more rich text option and it looks more like an email. And so I can provide a subheading. So welcome to the team. And then I can type my message here. I can do, and again, I can do even more. I can make it bold, I can underline, I can make it bigger, because that's awfully small. I can insert links, I can do bullets and numbering, all those things that we're kind of used to with email, you can do it here, and you can set importance. So when I click the exclamation point, my message is now ringed in red, the red important is there. So the people who come into this team, when they see this, it'll draw the eye. So that's how I can use this, this messaging platform. But notice at the top of the box that it says new conversation and there's a caret. So there's a drop down menu here. And if I click on it, I can change this conversation to an announcement. So bigger, bolder. I click it, my message stays the same, but now I can put a headline. And again, it's bigger, it's bolder. So the eye is drawn to it immediately. There are a couple of icons in the ribbon, the colored ribbon. I can change the color. So if I want that color, I can do it. Or I can add a background. I click on the picture icon and you can even upload your own images. And then I can choose an image that I like. There's quite a few. So you find one that speaks to you or that matches the topic that you're doing. I'm going to do a dragon today. And then I click done, and now I have, again, a little whimsy in our day, never hurt anyone. So I can make this bigger, better, and bolder so that when my teammates log in, they can see this announcement. But what if I also, you saw all those teams that I have. What if I wanted this message to show up in other teams? Do I have to go and type this all over again? The answer is no. We can do a post. We can post this into multiple channels. So I'm going to click post in multiple channels. And now I have, there's my to line. And on the right, I can select the channels I want this to go in. So these are all those teams that you saw earlier. So let's see, I'm going to put one in this. So I click on the name of the team I want to put this in and which channel in that team. I just click. I'm going to do it in 2 others. And when I've selected the teams and channels where I want this posting to go, I click update. And now my to line has 3 separate channels that it's going to be posting this in. So very quick, very simple. I can attach files, see if it works today. It didn't work last week. Oh, it's working, yay. So let's attach a file and also see what happens with that. You can, if you've used the file in other teams that you're a part of, you can attach them directly from within Teams. You can bring it in from your current OneDrive. You can link cloud storage depending on what your organization has deemed appropriate, or you can just upload from the computer. So how about I upload? Let's see if I have anything that I can do real quick. Yeah, we'll do that one. Okay. So now it's attaching. So everybody in the team is going to get that attachment. I can add emojis. So if I want to be kind of cute and funny, I can. I could add a GIF, which is just a short animation. And it's all searchable by topic. So hello, I like the kitty. So everyone in the team would see all of this. I can even add stickers, which are kind of interesting. But if I do stickers, I can't, it'll go underneath the Giphy. So I can add, again, just a little fun. I can do all of those things. And when I'm ready, all I have to do is click send or click enter. And now everybody in the team, when they log in, is going to see all of this here, including the flyer that I want them to look at. You can also attach videos. If you're using Microsoft Stream with your organization, you can link stream videos directly. You can give praise to people on your team for a job well done. You click the little ribbon, you select your badge, you choose to whom you want this to go, and it can go to multiple people. So I'm going to send this to these 2 people, and I can type a quick message, just thank you, and then I'm going to preview it. And that's what they're going to see, and everyone in the team is going to see it. So a great way to kind of boost morale and build camaraderie. So you can do praise, and there's other things that you can set up here too. You see that there's those ellipses again. So you can, based on your organization's choices for apps, you can add additional things to your messaging based on what you use. So that's posts. Now, what if I want to save a post? It's an important one, especially if I'm one of these kids. I want to save it. So remember, when I hover in the upper right-hand corner, I can do a quick interaction, but there's also an ellipses here. And when I click on it, I have some options. The first one is to save the message. So I'm going to click that. And notice up in the upper right corner, it's going to be saved in my profile. That's where I have to go to get it. I can edit the message. So if I spelled something wrong, I can take it back down, fix it, and put it back up. I can delete it. I can copy a link to this and send it to people in the team or outside of the team, kind of take a picture. I can share it to Outlook. I can have it translated. I can put it in Immersive Reader. There's so much more that we can do. So all of those available for every message. And so that's really what posts is. It's just collaboration and communication all in one spot. So let's take a look at our next tab, and that's files. Oh, look at that. Notice there's the PDF I attached to the message. So automatically it put it over in the files tab as well. Everything in Teams is searchable by topic, by keyword, by name. So if I wasn't sure where it was, I could still do a search in the search bar and find it. So let's take a walk through the Files tab and see everything that you can do. So there's a button that says New, so you're going to add New. You can add folders to help organize your team, just like you do on your desktop or laptop. But you can also create brand new Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or OneNotes directly within Teams without leaving Teams. So let's create a Word document. So I clicked Create, I give it a name, and I click Create. And now it's going to open in Word Online. And my team automatically has access and is able to move and edit and add, do their comments. We can have a conversation. Everything that the Word Online app does is right here in Teams. And I know I'm still in Teams because it's all purple around the outside. So I didn't have to leave to create this and then bring it in. It's going to automatically be in my files. So I don't have to work harder. We're working smarter. I can upload files directly, files and folders. I can add cloud storage. Now, again, this depends on what your organization has authorized. But if you are currently using a SharePoint site, you can link that site here. You can pick your files and folders from that SharePoint site and put them here for everyone to use. Or you could do the same with Dropbox, Ignite, or Google Drive. I'm going to click on Google Drive. I've already signed in before, so it's keeping me signed in. But I can choose the folder that I want to put into my Files tab. It's the whole folder. And there it is. And my team would have everything they needed. They'd be able to see it in here and access it. They can't go in, get into my Google Drive. They can only access what I have linked over. If I didn't want anyone to change these, then what I would do is go into Google. I would go separately into Google, And I would make sure that I have set the sharing settings to no editing on these documents, just to be sure if I don't want my team to edit them. So whatever sharing and permissions you have given these documents, that's what's going to follow here into Teams. So files, easy, simple, all in one location, create new things directly in Teams, don't have to leave. All right, so the staff notebook, that's just a OneNote, which is a digital 3-ring binder. That's a totally separate training, but if you're interested, play around with it. It's really kind of cool. And then, of course, it gave us these 2 wiki sites, which is just kind of like a shared note page. And then there's this plus sign. And the plus sign means we can add additional tabs. So if there's a program or a website that you use very often, you might want to add it at the top as a tab because it's just easier for everyone to get to it. They don't have to search through the files or search through the posts. They can get it in a tab. So for example, a website. Let's see, I'm going to do Wonderopolis because it's easy to remember here. And there it is. I type in the name that I want the tab to read. I type in the full URL and then I click save. And watch what happens. Now I have Wonderopolis here. So all of my team could just click on Wonderopolis. Now it's a pretty big site. So it's saying, hey, we got a problem. But all I have to do is click go to the site and it'll take me right there. So that's Wonderopolis. And then if I decide that I really don't want that tab anymore, I click the caret and I can remove it or I can change its name. There's other settings too, if I got the wrong address, for example. So I can make those changes. So let's come back to posts. Now look what happened when I added the new tab. There is a notification in posts. So people know what's going on and they know it says, here's a link. When I click on it, it takes me back to the tab. So whenever you add a tab, there will also be a corresponding post in the posts and conversations area, letting people know what you're doing. All right, so let's look at a few settings. So we've got through kind of the basics of how to utilize Teams. I'm pretty much going to guess that you're going to need more channels, right? So you might have channels for specific groups within your team, groups who are doing a project together, for example. So you might want to have a channel for just those project people. And we can do that. But let's start with settings and we'll talk about how to do that. So across from the name of the team, again, there's those ellipses. I click it and I can do a few things directly from here. I can manage the whole team. I can add the channel right now, right here. I could add new members. I can leave the team. So if I'm going to leave the team, maybe I got transferred to a different department. I would need to create one of the team members. I'd need to change the member to an owner, and then I can leave the team so that it's not sitting in my team's grid. I can edit the team, and that just means this is changing the name here. Remember, I said you could always change whether your team was private or public. This is where you could change that. And then I could choose an icon that I want to represent the team versus just a gray box with a B in it. So I can also upload additional pictures and put those in as well. So again, a little bit of fun in our day. I'm going to click on those ellipses again. I can even delete the team. So if I've gotten started here and I go, well, yeah, that's really not what I want, I can delete the team. So I'm not stuck with something I don't like. Let's do a walkthrough of the Manage Team. So I click Manage Team and it gives me a breakdown of the members first. There's one owner, me, and there are 3 members and guests, and there's a little caret. And if I click it, it gives me that information. So again, these 2 have the same email address as me, as my work email, and so they are full members. I can change one or both to become an owner. And when I do that, the person is moved up into the owners section. Notice my guest, again, doesn't have the same email address as my organization. I can't change them. I can't make them a member. They have to be in your organization. I can delete anybody just by clicking the X. It'll take them off the team. I can add members here, and it takes me exactly where we started when we created the team. I'm going to close. If people have found your team, if it's a public team, they can request to join your team, and those would show up here, and you just accept or decline. Channels. This is where we can add additional channels. Again, you saw it on the quick add here, but you can come in and look at all of your channels. So let's add a new channel. So I click add new channel, and then I need to give it a name. So I was thinking I've got two of my teammates are on project A. And so I want only the people doing project A to see it. This is fairly new for teams. You can change the privacy of each channel, but be careful here. Once you've chosen whether it is standard or private, you can't go back. So you'd have to delete the channel and start over again. So a standard channel, that's exactly what general is. Everybody on the team has access to it. They can see everything in the posts, everything in the files, everything in the general channel they can see. But if I have a subgroup that I don't need everybody to see, I can create a private channel. So this will only be accessible to a specific group of people whom I invite to this channel. So if they're not invited to the channel, it won't show up in their channel lineup. I'm going to click next. And it's going to ask me to add people. So I'm going to add these two. So these two will see it in their channel lineup. And once done is highlighted, I click done. So notice here it shows up and it's got a lock next to it. Since I'm the owner, I'm going to see all channels regardless of its privacy status. But only the two that I invited are going to see project A with a lock next to it. The third member of my team, it would just show general channel, nothing else. So we created this channel and we're given posts and files. So I can still add additional tabs here. I can still have my conversations about project A, or the people who are in this project, they would be working in here, keeping it secure. All right, so that's how you add a channel. And again, when you click on the ellipses, you can do that directly. There's the quick add for the channel and the members. I'm going to go back into manage team. And I want to come over to, well, let's look at channels now. So now we have two channels. And if I need to see this, I can keep it checked. If I want it to go away, I don't need to see it. It changes to a hidden channel. I can always turn it back on. So I can always come back in and re-see it, if that's a word. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click that back. It tells me when it was created. Again, I can add more channels. Now let's look really quickly at the team settings. So you can add a team picture if you wanted to. We decided whether or not people in your organization could find your team and request to join, but let's look at member permissions. These are the things that you will decide as the owner. What can your members do? Remember, members are in your organization. So you'll just go through. Default is they get to do everything here. I'm not going to spend time going through each of them. I'll let you do that. And then you have a few things that guests could be allowed to do, including create and update channels or delete channels. Default is off, but if you want your guests to do those, you would simply turn it on. And then your guests would be able to do those things. You can also decide who gets to use a full @team or an @channel mention. Do you want everyone to be able to do this or not? I'm going to come back to the team code. Just a second. Fun stuff. This is where you can decide, do you want to have those GIFs and stickers and emojis? It's defaulted on, you can turn it off and take those away. So if it becomes a distraction, you can shut them off. That's entirely your call. And let's come to the team code, because I said we'd come back to that. So if you have a large team, for example, you've got 50, 100, 200 people, I don't know that you really want to spend your day typing email addresses and adding them manually. If they are in your organization, you can click generate and get a code and share the code with the people who are going to be on your team. I'm going to go back to the starting point. And remember, we selected join or create team. And I said I'd come back to this join a team with a code. They would enter the code here. And again, it only works for members of the organization. Guests can't do it this way. You have to manually enter guest emails. But then they could automatically join and you don't have to spend your afternoon typing emails all day. So quick and simple, efficient way to get people into your team. Come back into our team now. I'm going to come back into the management side. And analytics. There's not going to be much here because we're not using the channel, but you can see how people are interacting with your team. And then there's apps. And again, these are apps that our organization has allowed. And there's a little purple More Apps button. And when I click on it, there are hundreds and hundreds of different apps that integrate directly within Teams. And you can sort through these, for example, education. If you use Quizlet or Flipgrid or Jognog, etc., you can attach these apps and give your teams access. So you can choose many different apps, hundreds to choose from. And these would probably be apps that you use often. Okay. So we've gone through kind of the how to set up a team, how to manage a team, how to post, how to use files, how to create new files. So I want to go through the last two things that we're going to do, and that is notifications and settings for teams and also meetings. Very important. So up in the upper right corner is your profile picture or your initials if you didn't upload a picture. And I'm going to click on it. And this is where you could change your picture as well. And notice the first thing is my availability. So right now it says I'm in a call, which I am. I'm here with you. That lets people know I may not get back to them right away. They're going to see the red dot here next to my name and know that I may not respond right away. I can set it to available, a green check, and people could look to expect a response from me. So you can set your availability. You could even include a status message like, hello, I'll be with you shortly. And you can set when that message will shut itself off. Here's where all those messages are saved. So remember, I saved a message right here and it took me right to it. Let me do this one. So I click on it and it highlights it in yellow so I can see that's the message that I saved. So all of your saved messages stay here as long as you want them. Okay. Settings. When I click on settings, this is where you're going to choose your default settings for the Teams app altogether. So you can choose your theme and your layout. I have the grid layout in case you're wondering. And then there's notifications. And this you will need to decide how you want your notifications to come to you. So when people do mentions, that at mention, how do you want to be notified? Do you want to get a banner and email? Remember, the banner is a little purple box that'll show up in the bottom right corner and tell you that someone wrote something for you. You were mentioned. You'll also get an email, but you can choose. Do you want just the banner? Or no notification, just keep it in posts and you'll kind of figure it out later. So you decide, how are you going to be notified? And the same goes for messages. My chat messages are turned off. It gets distracting when people are chatting, and the little purple box keeps showing up down here over and over. So I shut it off when I'm doing presentations. So again, you can decide what kind of sounds are going to play, if any, what kind of notifications for meeting chats, etc. So you would make those decisions for yourself, and each individual can do that for themselves. So what you select isn't necessarily, it actually will not affect what other people select. It is your preference. I also said that you could type a search term up here. So let's say I know I need a file called guidebook, but I can't remember where the heck it is. I've got 30 teams, it's hard to find. So right now it's showing me, I just typed guidebook in the search bar, and it's giving me all messages that contain the word guidebook. There aren't any people named guidebook. And then I could also click files, and it's showing me there's the file I'm looking for. And again, it's all searchable. So I can search by person, and this will allow me to see the conversation that I had with my colleague, Brittany. Makes it nice. That way you don't have to keep trying to scroll around and figure out where everything went. Okay. I want to spend a little bit of time in the calendar. I'm going to click calendar now. Okay, this is my Outlook calendar. And there's a few different ways to launch a meeting. Actually, let me go back real quick. Go back into our team and start there. Okay. So I'm back in our team that we created. Notice in the upper right corner, I have a white box that says Meet, and there's a drop-down menu next to it. If you don't have it there, that's okay, because when we open the calendar, it'll show up there. So I can do one of two kinds of meetings. I can do a Meet Now, which is literally what it sounds like. I'm going to start the meeting and invite someone. We have a quick chat. No schedule, it's just instant impromptu meeting. Or I can schedule a meeting. So let me go into the calendar again and show you. If it didn't show up in the team, it will show up in the top right corner of your Outlook calendar. So again, a Meet Now is quite simple. I'm going to mute myself. I click Meet Now. I click Join. And then I could type someone's email address. So let's say one of those team members. And they would get a little circle at the bottom that would pulsate and ring, and they would be able to join the meeting or not. So a Meet Now, impromptu, we just need to have a quick chat. Okay, I'll come back to this. I'm going to leave it because I want to show you the other meeting. If I click on New Meeting, it's going to take me to the scheduler. You'll be able, when you click Scheduling Assistant at the top, you will be able to see the teammates, the members of your team, and their availability so that you can see a good date and time to have your meeting. So we give it a title. If you're going to conduct your meeting in a team on a channel, you do not then also need to invite the people in the team. They will automatically be invited because they're already part of the team. But if you had people who were not in your team but needed to be in the meeting, then you could invite them by typing their email address, and they can be either required attendees or optional attendees. Again, if you're going to hold it in a team, in a channel, your teammates are already invited. So you're only adding additional outside people to the meeting here. I choose my day. I choose my time, whether or not it's going to repeat. And here's where I'm going to select the team and the channel. I can only hold a meeting in one team and channel. So when I click on it, it's going to open all of those teams that I have, and I get to pick which one am I having the meeting in. Here's the one, it's alphabetical. So here's the one we just created. I click on it, and there's that general channel. notice here that that private channel we created, the Project A, it's not showing up as an option here. So you cannot schedule a meeting in a private channel, only public channels. You can do a meet now in a private channel, but you can't schedule a meeting. So I'm going to hold it in the team we created in the general channel. And I just click on that. It's a virtual meeting, so I'm not going to add a location. I type in what my teammates need to know and be prepared for. And then I'm going to click send. And there's that meeting for tomorrow. Let's go back to the team. And now I'm back in the same team. I'm in the general channel, and here's that meeting, that big purple ribbon. So how are people going to join the meeting? They're going to get an email, a notification, and when they log in and come into this team, all they have to do is click the purple ribbon. Now, this is going to be a little different for me because I'm the owner of this. I created this meeting, so I can make adjustments. When the teammates click on the purple ribbon, they will see the information, but they won't be able to change the meeting details. They will only be able to join. There's also a link here to join the meeting, as well as a call-in phone number and a conference ID. You can get local numbers. Each person could get a local phone number so that there were no charges, etc. So all they would have to do is either click here in the body of the meeting or click join. So I'm going to click join, and it's going to take me to the meeting. Okay. So we click join. Here's everything that you can do. Now I'm in the web-based Teams app because I'm presenting through the desktop app. There's a very slight difference between what you can do in the web-based version and the desktop version. And I think the most important one is in meetings, actually. So you can share your video camera. Of course, you can mute and unmute yourself. You can share your screen, which is what I'm doing with you. And then there's this more actions. Again, ellipses always means more. I click on it. And then there's some things that I can do here. The big one that's not available in the web-based app is the ability to use a custom background when I turn my camera on. Can only do that in the desktop version. I'm hoping they change that at some point. So I can even, as the person who created this meeting, I can take notes during the meeting. And these notes would be saved into the team where that meeting notification was. So I click take notes. And then I can just type my notes. And these notes, again, are going to be saved for everybody in the team to see. So if they couldn't make the meeting, they can get the notes. I'm going to close that. I'm going to come back and hit more actions again. I can show meeting details. So if someone's on my mobile phone and saying, how do I call in? I can tell them this information so that they can get into the meeting. I can record the meeting. So if you know that maybe some team members aren't going to make the meeting, you can go ahead and you can start a recording. You can end the meeting, which is new for Teams. Ending the meeting kicks everybody out of the meeting. Before, if you just hung up, and if you just click hang up, the meeting is still going to be going on. You've just left the meeting. It's like walking out of the room, but everyone else is still there. So if the meeting really is ending, you would end the meeting and it would kick everybody out of the meeting room. Also, what came new was the raise your hand feature. I'm going to put show participants up so you can see that I'm currently in the meeting. If I click the raise my hand, notice that I get a little hand next to my name. So if team members raise their hand, you would see a little hand, and that way you would know to address them. So we're not talking over each other, especially when you have large meetings. And then when you're done, you just put your hand down. And there's also a conversation, a meeting chat. So very similar to the post tab, and all of this chat is saved for later as well. So participants can be posting messages, they can ask questions, etc. I'll just click that. And notice also in here in the chat, here's those notes that I took. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. So I click end meeting. It's going to make sure that this is really what I want to do. I click end. And recently also, right now with Teams, you can do the 3x3 grid and get 9 people on the screen in a meeting, just like Zoom. I think the biggest difference, the most important difference between Teams meetings and Zoom is that Teams is HIPAA and FERPA compliant. I'll just leave it at that. So I recommend, especially in the education world or in the business world in general, that you use Teams just for the security of it. So I'm back in our team. There's the meeting. It says 2 replies from me. I'm going to click on it. And there's those notes again. And it also created a tab called Meeting Notes. So we could continue adding notes after the meeting was over. So very cool, very simple way to make sure that everybody is included in the conversation, in the meeting. If I had recorded the meeting, then it would be automatically uploaded and processed in Microsoft Stream. And when it was finished processing, it would have a link here attached to the meeting. So anybody who missed could simply come right back here and click on the meeting. So very simple, very efficient way to get the information out to your teammates. Okay, I think one more thing, and that's chat. You can create a chat. I'm in the universal side, so these are all the different chat messages going back all time. So if I want to start a new chat with somebody, I click on the new chat icon, and then I can enter a name of a person, an email, a group. So if you have a group from O365, you can type the whole name of the group. I'm going to see my friend Christy. So I'm going to message Christy. Oh, look, we already have a chat going. So it will take me to the existing chat that we already have going, which is kind of cool. All right. I could give it a group name. I could add additional people and give it a group name if I needed to. And this chat stays here. I can hide the chat. I can leave the chat, but I cannot delete a chat. It will stay. I can pin an important conversation to the top so that I don't have to keep scrolling for it. Although, again, all I have to do is type the person's name and it will bring me to the chat. So easy way to make sure you get every notification and all of your communication in one spot. Okay, so I think I'm going to see if there are any questions that I can go through, anything that would be helpful to see again. Let's see if I can grab a question or two. The question, are the additional apps limited to Microsoft products? They're not all Microsoft products, but they integrate into Teams. So they may not be a Microsoft product, but they work well together. Let's see. Can you make teams with people outside your organization? Yes, you can. Again, the way you do that is you're going to click on the ellipses. You're going to click Add Member, and you're going to type that person's email address. So this is another email that I have from another company. It's a guest. So yes, I can add people who have different email addresses. Again, they are limited in what they can do. They're not able to access sensitive information, delete things that shouldn't be deleted, etc. So they have some freedoms, they can interact, but it's limited, and that's for your protection. Someone asked, if you send praise to multiple people, can they all see who it was sent to? Yes, they can, because this is exactly what it's going to look like. So it shows person 1, person 2. So everybody in the team sees exactly this. This is what it looks like when they log in. Somebody also asked about using OneNote and linking it in. There is a way to link it, but I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes my contact info. Send me an email, and I have some resources. How to be notified when a file is updated by any member of the team. That you would have to go into the file itself, I believe. I'm not exactly sure how to do how a notification would be generated. So that I'm not 100% sure on. So when I go back through the Q&A, I will take a look and see what I can find, and I will post whatever I can. If you have staff that don't have audio visual on desktops, can they join the meeting and dial in from a phone? Yep, absolutely. Let's come back to the calendar. There's that meeting we just scheduled. And when they click on it, they can't change any of this. They're just going to see the name, the date, the time, the location. This is where they're not going to be able to type in here. They'll see join Microsoft Teams meeting. They will see a phone number and a conference ID. They call the phone number. It will ask them for the conference ID. They type it in exactly, and they are in the meeting by phone. If they want a local number, they can click on local numbers, and it will generate a phone number that is toll free or based on in their area. So yes, you can. Can we share screens? Yes, you can. In a meeting, you can. So let me join the meeting. I click join now. We're going to do meeting in a meeting, sharing a screen in a meeting. We call this the sharrow. So it's a little square with an arrow. I click it, and it's going to ask me what I want to share. Do I want to do my whole desktop? One of these PowerPoints? Share a whiteboard. What do I want to share? I click it. It asks me, what am I sharing? My entire screen, an application window, an Edge tab. I decide what I'm sharing, and I click share. And now I'm sharing. And when I'm done, I click stop sharing. And other people can also share with you in a meeting. What do I mean by FERPA and HIPAA compliant? Everything in Microsoft is encrypted. So sensitive conversations do meet federal guidelines for family protection and health information protection. So I do have a document that I can send. If you want to contact me, I can send you a document that explains and describes it in much better detail than I can. Is there a way to delete old chats? Just hide them or leave them. It is HIPAA compliant. Is it possible to view more than 9 users at a time during a meeting? No, not yet. So the most recent 9 people who spoke or typed who spoke are the ones that are shown in the video meeting. When you share your screen, they all drop away, and they're only looking at the screen of the person who is sharing. Once the sharing stops, the 9 people come back up again. So if there's more than 9 people, down at the bottom, you'll see a whole bunch of circles with their initials. When they speak, they will come up and replace somebody up in one of the 9. That was just changed. It used to be only 4 people at a time. A couple weeks ago, they matched Zoom and did it 9. Can you see more than your own calendar? Yes, if the person shares their calendar with you. This is integrated with Outlook, so I can make it so that my messages come to my email inbox. Yes, you can. You can also send a message to it through Outlook. Can you open other areas of Teams while you're in a meeting? Yes, I'm doing it right now. Here's where I'm presenting. So I'm actually running the meeting through here, and I'm sitting here in Teams right now, showing you Teams inside of a Teams meeting. Yes, you can. And what's the difference between posting something without using the @ and using @ with the team name? The only difference is if you do an @ mention, the person you are mentioning or the team or the channel name, whatever, they get a notification. If you just type the message, they're not going to get any notification. They will just have to know to come into Teams. So if it's not really important, just type the message. When they're in Teams, they'll see it in the Posts tab. If you want them to know that they have something important, you do an @ mention, whether it's the whole team or the person or 2 people or whatever. Can Teams meetings be recorded immediately? You still have to come in to the meeting and start the recording. It can't start automatically. So if you're the first person here, which I am, I can start the recording and wait for others to join. So yes, you can start it as the first person in the meeting. Where is the meeting recorded? It's in Microsoft Stream. Things we can do in Posts. I'm not going to be able to go back over it, but this is being recorded, so you'll be able to watch this at your own convenience, and you're more than welcome to join tomorrow. Doing it at 12 o'clock, same thing. If you want to come back tomorrow and do this again, you're more than welcome to. Is there a visual way to know if a meeting is being recorded? I'm going to start the recording. It may not work. Here it is. It says you're recording the meeting. Please let everyone know they're being recorded. And then you can keep that there or you can dismiss it. So the reason why you're not, I have a red line that is framing my entire screen. And that's showing that I am in recording mode. So my whole screen is ringed red. I don't think you can see that though. Okay, so unfortunately we are out of time and I do want to be respectful. Again, I invite you to come back tomorrow if you want to see it again. Here's my contact info. I will be taking a look at the Q&A. I know we didn't have anybody available today to answer questions, so I will go back through and I will provide resources. I do have a YouTube channel where I have about 40 different webinars recorded on all different products. You're welcome to take a screenshot of this, take a photo. If you'd like to have a small group or a one-on-one meeting, you can schedule that directly in my calendar here. And you can also just simply send me an email. I do have a team for University of Missouri. If you want to join that team so that you can have access to all of my webinars automatically and you can chat with other colleagues, send me an email and I'll add you. So we are right exactly on time. So I want to say thank you. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will keep this up for just a few minutes and I will talk with you later. Thank you so much.